listening to Build Up, the Home Builder podcast, brought to you by ZGM. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Salina.
We're marketers
and brand strategists.
And we love applying our expertise to the home building industry. Join us as we uncover industry insights, chat with colleagues, and explore exciting ways to push the home building world forward.
Hey there. I am executive producer Santana, and I'm so excited to have you here today for our inaugural episode of the Build Up podcast, where we talk about all things home builder growth. So, to give you a quick little idea of what's going to be going on today, we just wanted to take a minute to introduce ourselves, chat a little bit about why we're passionate about this and what you can expect from the season, and then we'll get into today's topic. I love a good cliffhanger, so I am going to save what that topic is for one of our lovely hosts here and segue into introducing you to Jordan, our first host. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Santana. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks for the introduction to our first episode. I'm really excited to be here. A little bit about myself. My name is Jordan. I work at ZGM as the Director of Home Builder Marketing, and I'm really excited to be launching this Home Builder podcast. I've worked in the agency world for just over a decade, and pretty much always working in some sort of development or home building. It's been the most exciting part of my career. I think it's a really interesting industry, and I love working on home builders, both local, national, and international. And I think maybe the reason I'm so excited about it, one of the first clients I ever had was a little community development. Well, it's not that little. It's by Edmonton scale. It's actually quite large, but an Edmonton community on the southwest side of the city called Ambleside. That was one of the first things I did. I organized sleigh rides and bouncy castles and other kinds of fun things. And that got me interested in home building, home development. And that was kind of a fun segue into the industry. But I think even bigger than that, one of the things that I really enjoy in my regular life outside of work as well as at work is city building and development in general, development of communities, development of cities, and how suburbs and infill and everything in between fits within one another. And this concept of a 15-minute city and walkability and transit and connections and everything else is just so important to the fabric of our city, how we grow, how we develop, and what it means to live in a city. So all of that is what I'm about, and I hope to share some of that excitement and expertise in the marketing side of it over the course of our entire season and beyond. And now I'm going to pass it to my co-host, Salina, and have her introduce herself.
Thanks, Jordan. Well, yes, I'm Salina. I am an account director at ZGM. I also have been in the ad world for about 10 years now. Before I actually got into advertising, I worked for a local real estate magazine and did little stories for different home builders around the city, which was a bit of a foreshadowing experience into what happened when I started in advertising and working in agency. So my first gig was Full House Lottery. So not directly home building, but still kind of home building.
You still built some homes.
I know, right? Just a few. So yeah, ever since then, that was 10 years ago, and it's been a wild ride. Different home builders, different clients, a lot of different really cool experiences. I tried to leave the home building world behind me back in 2016. I left the continent. I wanted to be a fashion writer. But, went to London and did some really cool luxury branding experience. And somehow it brought me back to Edmonton, back to home building. And, it's such a exciting industry, so much to do, so much opportunity, and so much relation to working on big brands and luxury even. And really that's what excites me about the industry the most, is that opportunity to connect on that bigger scale, on that emotional level, and building a lifestyle around a home builder brand. I think that's what gets me most excited about the industry. Excited to talk about those opportunities together and with our guests, of course. And the little bit of history is that my family has been in real estate forever too. So I don't know why I ever tried to do something else. I know I'm going to be here for a bit. So yeah. That's a bit about me.
Yeah. I think anybody who's in home building listening to this podcast right now, they know that once you're in, you can't get out.
Yeah. And Santana, our executive producer. A little bit about you.
So I guess technically my title here, not with ZGM at large, but within the confines of this podcast, is executive producer. I think of myself more as the ringmaster here, you two being our lovely lions and monkeys that occasionally will probably get up on tangents. One thing that these two did not mention yet is that they are really good friends and have a wonderful banter, so I'll probably be doing a little bit of roping in here and there, but...
Good luck. Good luck.
Thanks. I need it. So you probably won't hear from me very often. I'll be kind of lurking in the background, but my role is as an inbound and content marketer at large. So my exact title is brand and growth manager. But what that really means is that I just get really excited about connecting people to content and brands, and connecting people to brands through content, including things like podcasts like this. So personally, I love home builder marketing because there are just so many great opportunities and angles for exciting content and inbound work. If you've ever been trapped by a friend in a conversation at a party who is either in the process of looking for a home or has just bought a home, it's all they want to talk about. It's all they've been Googling. It's all the videos they've been watching. It's all the shopping they've been doing. They've got Pinterest boards about it. And so for me, as like an inbound marketer, what's a juicier industry than that? So that's what really excites me. But enough about us. I'm going to throw it back to Jordan here to talk about what we're talking about today and about what this season might look like.
Thanks, Santana. And who's the lion and who's the monkey?
I'm definitely the lion. I have the mane.
Oh, you do. Yeah, very beautiful mane.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah. So what are we doing here? What are we talking about? What is this podcast thing that we're venturing out on all about, Salina?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that we recognize that there's a need in the industry for idea sharing and discussions and talking about all the cool innovations that are happening in the industry in different, not just in our market, but in all the different markets in North America and beyond. We love talking about it internally. I know you and I, I would almost say daily, have hour-long discussions about cool trends and, oh, did you see that on the news? And, oh, look what this builder, or even out of industry, look what this person's doing, and how it relates to, how it could relate really to home building. So,
well, I think it's actually funny because we've actually been doing this show for years. Yes. We're just now recording it.
100%. So, I'm excited to have those real conversations and to get people involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we love the home building industry. Salina and I have a huge history. We pretty much have been working together for like a decade, on and off, roughly on various different things, and have really kind of gotten into the home builder side of things in the last few years together. And we love it. We really do love it. And we're excited about this podcast. We're excited about being able to talk about new and innovative things, bring some new ideas to the setting, talk about what's happening across multiple different industries in home building and how it all applies. Maybe even talk about some economics, some consumer behavior, what's going to change, what's going to happen. The home building has room for growth. And I say that with all the love, kindness, and respect that there is. But we look at home building right across North America. We're located in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, but we really are focused and attuned to things that are going on right across the continent. And there is opportunity. Doesn't matter where you are. Don't think that the home builder in Edmonton is a little guy and the people in California or Toronto or Dallas, Texas are doing things a lot better or different. There's a lot of similarities and there's a lot of room for growth in a lot of those areas. And we want to bring some of that innovation, that change, do things differently, do things better, and get some better responses. One of the things we talk about often is the Instagram test. And this is kind of a simple, basic way of looking at home builders. And if you just follow a bunch of different home builders and you scroll through Instagram, it's really hard to look at them any differently. You see a picture of a kitchen, you see a picture of an ensuite, you see a picture of a living room, and it's just like, okay, cool, but who were they? And how are they memorable? And why do I care about them? So that's the kind of stuff we want to talk about. We want to show builders there's a better way, opportunity industry, ways to stand out and win the Instagram test.
So, Jordan, what can listeners expect to hear from us in our first season?
Yeah, in our first season, like Salina and I love talking to each other about home builder stuff, but guess what? It's not just going to be the two of us. I'm sorry if you were tuning in only to hear Salina and I. We're going to have guests over the course of our many seasons that we do this. We're going to have lots of discussions. We're going to bring in clients. We're going to bring in some industry experts. We're going to bring in some friends, some colleagues, and really have discussions on successes, things they've achieved, maybe even some failures, ways of doing things, looking at things, how they've achieved what they've achieved, and really just kind of try and bring some different perspectives and different opportunities. Take a look at some innovations and trends in the industry, how people are applying them, looking at all of our marketing expertise from our team internally here, who are going to share their insights on how we achieve optimal results, looking at media, looking at brand, looking at consumer funnels, all kinds of fun marketing things that we're going to bring into the home builder world. And hopefully some insightful conversation that will get you, the listener, thinking about new ways and approaches to marketing and connecting with your consumers in home build. Yeah, okay, let's get into today's topic, give a taste of what the show's actually going to be like, and let's chat about some customer experience, Salina. Do you like talking about customer experience?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
Only talk about it every day.
Literally, I think we probably talk about it every day.
And not just about work or client work or partner work, but just in our like day-to-day life, which is why I think this topic is such a great one and something that I think is valid for us to talk about without having maybe somebody from the home building industry here. I know that, when we experience getting coffee, we talk about it with each other.
That's true.
Right? How was the drive-through experience? Or, when I went inside to a coffee shop, how, what was cool or kind of innovative in the messaging inside the space. But for home building specifically, when we go into a show home, that experience is huge. And it is something that really could be the make or break it for a home builder in the consumer journey. So I think it's a very relevant and important topic to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in a lot of ways, it's interesting because we're not just talking about, when we talk about customer service, though, we're not just talking about the sales center or the dream home or the show home or whatever you want to call it. That's one element of the customer experience. But it's not the most important element of the customer experience by any means. And what we're really talking about is at the end of the day, customer experience is marketing, and it's a channel. And the customer experience is all of your advertising, your media, your out-of-home billboard, your website, your show home, your sales team, your post-purchase warranty team, your like whoever and whatever the customer comes in contact with. That's customer experience with the brand. And it really needs to be looked at from that broad of a lens and that broad of an angle.
It's the full story.
It is the full story. And I think that's the disconnect in a lot of ways. And I think it's the disconnect that hurts a lot of organizations. And we've seen it a lot of time in home builders. But, your brand, your logo, your advertising, all of that is part of the customer experience. And it really extends all the way through. And it's important that everything through there is speaking the same language, speaking the same message, because there's just so much to it. And marketing has to talk to sales, has to talk to everybody in the organization and really have everybody buy in and speak that same language, that same message.
I know something that we always kind of speak to is that, we could work with a client or a partner and create the most lovely brand and, smart marketing and a fantastic media buy and great communication strategy. And, we see it on TV, we see it on billboards, and we're like, oh, it's so good. It's magic. I love it. But really, that all falls flat if that brand message and that brand story isn't being told by the company and the team members, especially the team members who are interacting with customers, like that front line. If, you could invest so many dollars in creating this brand, but it's making sure your whole team is buying into that brand and living the brand as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important part of it too, because like you have made an investment. Like whenever you're going out with an ad campaign, a brand, you're making an investment. And if that investment isn't at every point, returning the same message, then you're kind of wasting some of that investment. And it's so important. So the sales center is a big touch point for a lot of people. And it's the opportunity to see the brand in real life. Maybe someone's seen it online, they've seen it in a commercial, a radio spot, they've looked at the website, they've gone on social, but like now it's tangible. I'm coming in, I'm seeing a real human being, I'm seeing a real space. And if at that point there's a disconnect, that's really damaging. That's damaging to the whole experience. And we know this, and we've seen this in the research we've done too, because we've heard people just in the research just say, yeah, I got to the sales center and the salesperson was just, they weren't engaging. They didn't give me anything. They didn't continue the story and the journey for me. Maybe my words, not theirs, but it fell flat and they left. And that's sad because you can do all you want to do. You can spend all the money you want to spend on your advertising. And if it doesn't connect at the sales center with the salesperson, you're going to lose customers. They're going to go somewhere else.
And like what an industry to have a letdown into,
Mm-hmm.
like the emotional buildup for somebody to like really love your product, this huge purchase, biggest purchase of their life. And then they're excited. They're coming into the space that might, be what their future home looks like, where they're going to raise their family, where they're going to celebrate big moments. And then it's just like a sad, like, oh no, this is not what I expected it to be. Or this person in the space, or even the space itself just doesn't have that, this feels right atmosphere. And you're met with like let down expectations in a way. And it happens in different industries, but if you're going to buy a pair of shoes and whatever, the shoe shop is not as great as
Is that where you buy your shoes? The shoe shop?
The shoe shop. I don't want to name drop, okay? I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I will if you want me to.
Go for it. What's your customer experience in shoe shopping?
No, I refuse. But anyways, and then it's a letdown. Okay, whatever, like whatever that purchase was, whether it was $100, a couple $100, whatever. But to be let down for hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's high stakes, really.
Yeah.
And it is a very emotional purchase. Lots of people are going to look at it and say, that's not an emotional purchase. Like, it's such an expensive purchase. It's got to be so logical. But really, it's like not. Like, every decision that we're making is still an emotional decision. It's not rational. And that extends to a home purchase. And when we're looking at everything we build up in advertising and in the marketing and on the website, we're trying to be so emotional, connect with them emotionally, bring them in. We know from advertising that's what works. That's how creativity works. And then you get to the sales center and it's like, yes, our 3,500 square foot, 2-story, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom. Enjoy your tour of the home. It's just
Thank you. I already knew that.
Yeah. Like, of course I already knew that. I've been on the website. I'm here because this is what I'm looking for. Yeah. Like, I don't need that. Give me some more. What's the brand about? What's the difference? How are you going to stand out and like make me connect to your product? Because we know, like, we go on show home tours all the time. And it doesn't matter what market we're touring in. We've toured in lots of different markets. We go through so many different homes and it is so rational, logical, and here's this many square feet, blah, blah, blah. And people get stuck and they don't remember what show home was what. There's no emotional connection to the brand. There's no differentiation and there's no ability to get excited.
I think just to pop in, one thing too that's interesting to note on this conversation is just these salespeople probably want to hype up those buyers. They make big commissions. Like, no matter what market they're in, they're incentivized to sell homes. So I always wonder, what is the brand giving them to get hyped up on, to hype the customer up on? Because you can't just put it back on the sales team. Like, what materials are you giving them to be excited? I worked at Lululemon briefly in college, and they would hype us up on new products. They would give us promotional videos internally to hype us up, and then they would gift us those pants to get hyped on them. Like, what are you giving your team because they want to sell.
100%. And I think it's, you know, it's not really even fair maybe to call them the sales team. They should be, you know, the brand ambassadors. They should be, you know, the customer service specialists here to put the home buyer at ease and create trust and security for this huge life investment that's they're approaching. So 100%, it's definitely not a sales team kind of, you know, picking on them that it's their fault. I think it's making sure that they're trained really well. Something we always talk about is how important training is and arming them with the materials that they need to do their job at the best that they can.
Yeah, investing in your team is so important. Like from a marketing point of view too, you can't just look at it as this is where we stop. Like we're the website and everything before the website and all the ads and everything when we stop, and then it just switches to sales and they do their thing. That's not how it works for a customer, and that's not how it works for a brand. Like it's all encompassing. And we're going to talk about brand purpose now. It's not going to be the last time we talk about brand purpose, because this is something we truly believe in, and it's something that we bring to all of our clients and our home builder clients, and it makes a huge difference. But what are you about? Why do you do what you do? What's that purpose? And how can you bring that to every single member of your team, and every single message from marketing through to the sales team, and make them give that message and provide that message and that excitement over to the client, and to really continue that whole story. Yeah, and make sure that they are up to date. Make sure that everyone on the whole team is up to date. What are the new things that we're talking about? What are the new messages? What are the new campaigns? What's the internal communication strategy? What's the regular touch point with those people who maybe feel a little bit disconnected because, you know, they don't work at head office. They don't check in with the team. They don't get marketing. They don't get to talk to the marketing team that often. So how are we checking in with them, investing in them, and making sure that they are telling the right story and they're excited to tell the right story?
Is there anything worse than when you see like a new ad campaign for a company, then you go into the store and the person doesn't know what you're talking about? It has happened to me.
Yeah. That's so frustrating.
It's the worst.
You know, there's that old adage that's, I'm probably going to mess this up, but there's nothing that ruins a good product like bad advertising, or there's nothing that ruins a bad product like good advertising, something like that. Oh, Santana, help me.
Rob says this all the time, and it is nothing will kill a bad product faster than great advertising.
Yeah. But I think so my point is, sorry, that was a long ramble to get to where I'm trying to go. But my point is, I think that's actually, you need to extend that now, because yes, that's still true, but it's not just the advertising. Like there's the sales team as well. And again, nothing will kill good advertising and a good product like a bad sales team. Mm-hmm. If you don't have that gap filled, and if you don't have that excitement and that right message there, then yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to connect. Like it's a journey that someone is on to buy this product. Every product purchase is a journey. Some of them are faster than others. You know, if I'm at the till at the grocery store and I pick up a chocolate bar, yes, that one is a little bit faster than what it is to buy a house. But that, in fact, just makes the journey so much more important for the house, because it does take so long. So you really have to focus and pay attention and bring so much more to that journey the whole way through.
Yeah, it's such a huge emotional investment. I know I've said that a few times now, but it is. It's such a big moment in somebody's life. And when we, you know, start thinking about who the new buyers that are coming into the market are, you know, Jordan, you talk about this all the time, you know, baby boomers. They're not number one anymore. Or I think, no. I don't know, you know the stats.
Yeah, they're not number one anymore. So these are new numbers that I just received from a conference that I was on the other day. But in 2018, 2019, Gen Z millennials made up 29% of the whole buyer market. And these are like North America stats. When you look at 2021, millennials and Gen Z now make up 40% of the buyers. And that is now the biggest group. Like this is a year. We've just 1 year ago, like that's a big shift. They're now the biggest group of buyers, bigger than baby boomers, who are now only 20 to 26% of the market. And this group of people is coming into the market, and they're a new kind of buyer. You read this all the time in everything advertising and marketing related, is that this new group of buyers is so well informed, and they want to buy things not just because of the price and the product, but they want to buy things because it fits with who they are. It fits with, what their worldview is and what their stance is on things. They want to know why you do what you do and how you're changing the world, not just what your house looks like and how much it costs.
Yeah, particularly Gen Z. I'm going to call them Gen Z because I'm half American. So, I think Gen Z particularly is, really, really will make all of their purchases based on their beliefs. And, they will do their research about a brand. They will see where they get their materials. They will follow through on making sure that the brands are upholding their promises. So tuning in to who this new buyer is and understanding what they're looking for, and they're not just gonna choose you because you're giving $10,000 off of your home appliance package or kind of those discounts, doesn't work for them. They'll pay more if the brand aligns with their belief.
Yeah, more than any other generation or buyer.
Yeah,
it's just so important to them, and everything that's happening in the world today. It has to fit for them more than any other generation. That's such a big thing and an important part of it.
I think one other thing too here that's really interesting to me is that renting used to be a dirty word, right? I think a lot of baby boomers and Gen X and even, some older millennials really used to believe I haven't made it until I bought a house. That discourse has changed, baby. Renting is now very commonplace, very acceptable. The Gen Z, they're down with it, and you have to sweet talk them into buying a house because they don't feel like it's the default anymore. It's not their default path. So you're not just coaxing them into buying your house. You might be coaxing them into buying a house.
Yeah, absolutely. And the rental thing, that is such on the upswing, and it's taking on a whole new look. The number of rental properties in the United States is growing, and it's not even just rental apartments or townhouses or things like that, but it's now communities with brand new homes that are strictly built to rent, which is that is such a growing segment of what's happening in the home building market in North America. It's really interesting, probably worth an episode in the future. I think Gen Z, also worth an episode in the future, because this group is so interesting. Their concepts of what it means to own something, their feelings towards maintenance and dealing with things that come up is so different from any other generation. I could go on and on about that, but we're going to cover all of that in another episode.
Now that we're coming towards the end of our episode here, I'd love for you both to tell me what's one or two big takeaways that anyone that has listened to this should get from this podcast? I'll head to you first, Jordan.
No, I think for me, my biggest takeaway, I have two biggest takeaways. Is that allowed? Maybe. My two biggest takeaways. One, customer experience is not just a direct interaction with the customer and a salesperson. Customer experience is every single touch point. And don't be concerned about how small that touch point is. Actually, maybe be concerned about how small that touch point is, because even the little ones add up and they're so important. And so what can you look at and do at every single touch point to make sure that your brand, your differentiation, your purpose, your why, all of that comes through in everything, so that when somebody walks away at the end of touring 4 or 5 show homes in a day, they're thinking, wow, that one stood out, and that one was all about this, and that means something to me, and I'm excited about them.
The biggest thing for me is consistency. There's a lot of brands I love and I'm, very loyal to. I think I'll just use Starbucks as an example. My experience
with your Starbucks mug in front of you right now.
Right? And that I was sad before we started this conversation because I didn't have enough time to grab a Starbucks coffee on my way. But the Starbucks experience is so consistent, and I always know what I'm going to get. And, they their corporate values shine through in everything they do, in how they treat their team members, in their training, in everything they do. So that consistency of their brand and their messaging and the experience when you go through a drive-through, and how they have, videos now so that, somebody who is hearing impaired, they could also order through drive-through. So, that is huge. And a home builder needs to get that, detailed with consistency, from the billboard to their website, to their show home, to what their sales team is saying. Let it all be consistent. And then I feel like you'll win. Like Starbucks.
Winning. Who doesn't like to win? Okay. All right. Well, that's our first episode.
Wow.
That's exciting. And thanks everyone for all the work so far. Santana, Salina, everyone behind the scenes. Thank you for listening to our first episode. I hope you continue to listen. We've got lots of interesting and exciting things up and coming. And Salina, what's up next, actually?
Well, on our next episode, we're going to introduce our first guest and talk about media. Everybody loves to talk about media and strategy, and what's the right mix, what's the right approach, and how you could achieve more from your budget.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Be sure to subscribe to the Build Up podcast on your favorite listening app. And do not forget to click the link in the show description to sign up for the show notes. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.
This has been a ZGM podcast with your hosts, Jordan Mair and Salina Halabi, produced by Santana Blanchette, edited by Shelby Von Groven and Scott Steele, and supported by everyone on the ZGM team.
Woo!